My name is Bárbara Gutierrez, and I'm happy to talk to you about the next panel. How to become an influencer. The dream of many young people is to become an influencer, but where should I get started? Carolline Mello, influencer manager of Avakin Life and Broadway, content creator and influencer, give tips on how to build your fan base, how to find the right game, which platforms to use, and what precautions to take when posting content. We'll have simultaneous translation into English for this session.
Bom, então vamos chamar os nossos participantes do painel. E ele está
Let me
falando aqui
introduce you
do
to our
Manager,
speakers.
mais conhecida como Broadway,
We have
influencer de
Broadway,
criação
Bianca
de
Albertin
conteúdo
da Silva, who is an
e
influencer for
vai
the
tentar
creator
mostrar
program for
vídeos
Avakin
curtos.
Life, and Caroline Mello, influencer manager.
Tudo
Hi,
ótimo.
everyone. How's it
E
going?
o painel
It's
é
going
bem
well. Thank
masculino,
you.
né? Gosto.
Great. And I love panels
Agora
that are
é sua
female
vez.
only.
Muito obrigada.
You may begin, girls.
Bom,
Thank you.
primeiramente, boa tarde a todo o pessoal de casa. Então, eu sou a
First of
Caroline,
all, good afternoon
falo
to
da
everyone
Broadway.
watching from home. My name
E
is
agora eu vou falar
Caroline,
então sobre
and
o
my
que
name
um
is
influenciador
Brew.
é o que você precisa hoje em dia para estar
We're going to talk about
criando
what you need
conteúdo.
as an influencer to
Eu vou
become
compartilhar aqui
a
a tela com
content
vocês.
creator working in games. Let me share my screen.
Então, vamos lá, né? Então, primeiro de tudo, o caminho do influenciador, né?
Let's talk about this road.
A gente sabe que desde da sua invenção, os videogames eles têm conquistado
We
milhões
know
de fãs que
that
são
from the get
apaixonados
go,
por
people
jogos,
have been falling
seja
in
pela
love with
diversão de
games,
jogabilidade ou até mesmo os
whether
momentos
that's
de diversão
because
que
of
eles
narrative
compartilham
or
com a família e
storytelling
jogando.
or
E
gameplay
todos
or
têm um
mechanics.
critério que são sempre pessoas
Everyone
apaixonadas
knows
por isso.
that people
E
fall in
através
love
das
with
redes
games.
sociais, hoje em dia a gente tem a possibilidade de compartilhar
Now,
esse
with
critério
social
com
media
outras pessoas,
nowadays,
com
we're
milhares
able
de
to
pessoas
share this
que nem
passion
você
with other
conhecia
people, and we
e
end up
acaba
meeting
que
people that we wouldn't
A
meet
partir daí
otherwise.
vai ser o start disso tudo, né? É o start do
And it all
começo,
starts
porque
with
você vai
passion,
falar, não,
guys.
é agora, é isso que eu
It's where we
quero,
get started.
eu vou
This is
focar
how we
nisso,
can
quero
say,
desenvolver
hey,
esse
this is what I want to
conhecimento, quero
do.
ter esse
This is what I
conhecimento,
want to
quero
work with.
te
Maybe in the
fazer
future I can make
motivar,
money
quero
with
te
it.
levar por esse
But passion is the seed for
motivar,
everything that is going to blossom in your career and that is going to encourage
depois
you
que
to
você
reach your
já
goals.
acabou decidindo que vai seguir por esse caminho,
Now,
e a
if
pergunta,
you've
né?
decided
Por
to
onde
go down this
começar?
road,
Aonde começar
how
para
should you
se
get
tornar um
started?
influenciador? Então, hoje eu
How
vou
can you
dizer
start
mais ou menos
becoming an
como você
influencer?
pode construir sua base
Today, we're
e
going to
seguir
give you
por
some
esse
tips
caminho.
on how to start
Só
having
que primeiro de
an
tudo que eu quero
audience
falar
and
é
how to
qual é
start
o
this
seu
journey.
jogo, né? Qual é o seu estilo
The
de jogo?
first question
Você gosta de
is,
jogar um
what is your
FPS?
game?
Você gosta de
What
jogar um
kind of
RPG?
style are you
Você gosta
into?
mais
Is it
envolvido com
FPS?
jogatina?
Is it
Você gosta de outro
RPG?
estilo? Então, acho que
Are
você
you
tem que
better in some
identificar o que
genres
você
and not in
busca em
others?
termos de
You
conteúdo
need to understand
para os
the
seus
kind of
influenciadores.
content you want to offer
E
to your
você tem que sempre
audience.
falar para você levar em consideração as
Also,
suas
you should
limitações,
always
né? Por
take into
exemplo, a gente
account
sabe que
whatever
existem jogos
restrictions you
para
may have.
consoles, jogos que só
We do know that we have
funcionam
certain games
no
for specific
jogos
consoles
mobile, né?
or
Como
only
o
for
aplicativo
PC
do
or
Avakin
mobile
Life, que é um
gaming.
jogo
For
para
example,
você
that's the case of Avakin
desenvolver
Life, the
hoje.
game that we're going
Então,
to
é muito
use as an
importante você
example
levar em
today.
consideração essa sua limitação
So
para
think
você
about the
seguir esse
restrictions
caminho
you have when it comes to your
Isso
setup
é
and your
importante, isso é muito
infrastructure.
importante, porque às vezes as pessoas falam, eu não
Yeah,
quero
that's really
começar porque eu
important
acho que eu ainda não tenho
because
paciência.
oftentimes people don't get started because they don't have a good enough
Vai
gaming setup.
acontecer assim,
But that is not
tipo,
necessarily going
não
to
tem
lead you to
dificuldade.
failure.
Começa
It's
com
not going to be an obstacle
recursos,
necessarily.
como
You have to
diversificar
start with
você
the
tem
resources you have.
realmente, quantas
We
pessoas
see that
começaram a criar conteúdo através
we've
do
had an
YouTube,
increase
postando ali o seu
in
videozinho,
content
vídeos gratuitos. Hoje em dia a
with
gente tem
people just
várias
using their
opções
phones
sem
and
limites.
editing
Então,
these videos because we
você
have
ganha
apps
dinheiro
that allow
com
for a lot of
responsabilidade.
editing. You
Então,
don't necessarily
você
need
tem.
to invest any
Você tem
money right off
limitado
the bat.
quantas
You can
investidas
use
você
whatever
pode
you have. You don't have to
exatamente.
invest
Então,
in something
acho
very
que só o primeiro
expensive.
ponto é levar em
Yeah, I
consideração as
agree.
opções de jogos que você vai se sentir mais
So, this
confortável
is number one.
fazendo.
You need to think about the
E
games you may
outra
play and you need to figure out what you're most
dica é
comfortable with.
conheça suas
Then we move on
plataformas.
to the
Hoje a
next
gente
step.
tem
We need to know
várias
our
possibilidades
platforms.
de
Right now,
vídeo, de
there's a
conteúdo, de
range of
streaming,
networks
e
with
elas vão
video,
agradar
with
suas limitações.
streaming,
Primeiro você tem que
and
saber o que
these
você quer.
platforms are
Qual
going to
conteúdo
cater
que
to
você
different
quer ter?
needs.
Então, por exemplo, se você quer criar um
So think about the kind of content you want to create. If it's video, we have YouTube.
Tem Animo TV.
If it's streaming, we have Nemo TV.
Reforçar é a questão
But
novamente da
it's
limitação.
also important to
Então,
emphasize that
vários
once
fatores vão
again,
se
we
primando,
need to take
certo?
restrictions into account
É tudo
and the
sobre
setup
qual
we're going to
plataforma que
use
você
to
vai fazer.
stream.
A gente tem
So
Animo,
if you're
que
going
você
to
joga
use
ali
your
e consegue
phone,
transmitir
with
diretamente.
Nemo
Ah,
TV, you
não,
can
mas eu tenho um
broadcast
computador e eu quero
directly
jogar.
from your phone.
Mas enfim,
Now,
são
if you
várias
have a
opções ao mesmo
computer
tempo e tudo
and you
mais.
want to do something
Você vai
else,
acabar levando em
YouTube
consideração
may be an option, for example.
estude as plataformas e veja
Take
qual
this
que é
into account, analyze these platforms, and understand what's your best match here.
Ótimo. Então, se você puder estar em
Yeah,
todas elas,
and the
use
more
todas
you can
elas.
work with
Se você
these
quiser ter essa
platforms,
habilidade,
the
vai ser
better.
você quem
If you
vai
can be in
conseguir
all of
fazer
them,
começar.
great. It all
Mas tem
depends
muitos
on
aí,
what
você
you
falou
have
aí,
available to
que
you
pode
when you get
até correr o
started.
erro de achar que,
And
se as pessoas
sometimes
me
we
conhecem
make
pelo
the
Instagram,
mistake of
elas vão me
thinking that if
quanto. Não,
people
existem
know us
outras
on
pessoas
Instagram, they will
que
know us
vão
on
te
YouTube
reconhecer.
as well.
Por isso que é
But
importante você
we
ter
have
isso,
different
você entender
audiences
onde
in
você
each
está
platform.
inserida.
And that is why
E
it is so
você vende uma
important to
realidade. Então,
spread your
lá
content out.
você
If
consegue
people don't
mostrar as
see
pessoas
you,
mais
they
ou menos
can't
o que
remember
você
you.
é e
The
associar com
more
isso.
people who see
Então,
you, the more
tente
people
ser uma
will
das pessoas
remember
mais
you
legais e estar em todas
and
elas.
remember your brand. So try and be at every platform if
Então, agora
possible.
que a gente fala qual seria o próximo passo, o próximo
Exactly.
caminho a trilhar, né?
And then
A
our
construção da
next
sua
step
marca, né?
on
Então,
this
uma vez
road
que
is to
cheguei
build
aqui,
your brand.
que vender tudo nesse mundo,
And knowing
para isso você
how to
precisa
pitch
estabelecer a
yourself
sua
is
construção.
really important in this
Como você
world.
tem que identificar
And
esse
you need
visual?
a very good
A gente
branding.
sabe que as pessoas são muito, elas acabam
When it
sendo
comes to
presas
visual
em
identity, for
em
example,
trabalhar
we
essa
know that
identidade.
images
Como você
matter.
pretende
You need to
diferenciar
create a
você
good visual
desse mundo, né?
identity. You need to
Isso
see
na parte
what
das
kind of
imagens,
thing you
principalmente,
can offer that is going to be different from the
no Reels, no
competition.
YouTube,
You can
você
also have
simplesmente dá
models.
oi para a câmera. É uma coisa assim muito doida para você como a construção da
And
identidade
sometimes we can know
daquela pessoa
who we're
é
watching on
importante,
YouTube
né?
or on streaming by the way these people say hi to their audience, for example, because they have their
Começar a
catchphrases.
relacionar a você.
Yeah,
Então, você pode
exactly.
trabalhar com determinadas cores
And people are
específicas
going to start
no seu banner, no seu Instagram,
seeing you as a reference for something certain things. And for example, if you use certain colors, people will start recognizing you through that. And you can have some of your highlights on YouTube and some on Instagram, and you can use a certain palette or a very strong name or using your name in a very strong way. But you do need to stand out. You need to make sure people don't forget you
Não, com certeza.
and that it really has a lot of impact.
Esses são os
Yeah,
passos,
I
é o que a
agree.
gente fala que é a
I
parte
think
por
these are the
trás das
steps.
câmeras, né? O
And I
backstage,
think
que
this
você
is
precisa
what
organizar
happens
as
in the
plataformas
backstage,
para construir
behind the
sua marca.
curtains. You need to think about your
E o
games,
passo
think about your
seguinte é
platforms,
só se
do
lançar,
some branding,
que é
and then
encontrar o seu
face the
público.
world.
Agora é hora da
So,
divulgação. Eu
this
sei que
is
a
where you're
Mel é
going
uma
to
ótima
meet your
vendedora,
audience.
porque
And
ela começou o público dela do
Broadway
zero, né,
has a lot
Broadway?
of good examples because she started from scratch, right? Yeah. And we were talking about finding the right game, right? And this is really important because if you start creating content for a specific game, it may be easier for you to find an audience. When I got started working with the internet, I didn't tell anyone in my personal life. My family members and my friends didn't know about it. So I had to find people I didn't know to watch my content. And it's really hard to do that. But even though it is hard, it is something we must do. It is paramount for anyone who wants to work with this. Right now, we have hashtags, and they are really useful for us to find our niche audience because we can look for people who are playing this game, or we can see people who are playing a certain game or following a certain Instagram page. And this is how we're going to find the audience that will be interested in watching our content. And we can just, try and attract them to our channel. Or if they need help, we can say, hey, I have a video to help you with that. So finding your audience is very important. You can start with a smaller niche, and little by little, you can expand it because this will make it easier for you to find people who will be interested in following you.
Mesmo, você tem que
Yeah.
performar e ir atrás
And
dos
you
seus
have to be
seguidores.
shameless at
Então,
this
já é
point.
uma coisa que vem
You
de você,
have to
né?
look for your audience actively because it's not going to be easy for them to find you.
Mas assim, a
So you
gente
do have to go
sabe
looking for them. And you may be thinking, okay, I get it. I have to look for my audience. But here's the catch, because this is what is really important for you to understand where you're headed. There are certain things you shouldn't be doing, right? When you're creating content. And I think there's consensus that we need to be extremely respectful. We need to respect the platform we're working on. We need to respect the game we're playing, and we need to respect our audience. Respect is key. Whenever you're playing, whenever you're talking about a game, you need to be respectful. Because we know that you could be banned for certain kinds of behaviors nowadays. So this is our golden rule. Always be respectful. Yes, and we have to respect the game itself. And do not criticize other games. Every game has its history. Every game was created by people who love creating it. So don't fall into competition. Don't try to criticize your competitors. There's space for everyone. And gaming is something that frees people. So don't create competition where we don't have it.
There are always the rules. Whether the platform you're on, the game you're playing. I know that we have terms and conditions. You sign in and you don't even read it, but you have to have a minimum understanding of what you're doing to know what you should do and shouldn't do, especially. And I think that's our advice in terms of the don'ts. And now we're going to talk a bit about the contact with brands. Okay, you're out in the world, you kind of understand what your content's going to be, what you like doing. So how am I going to monetize this? How am I going to use my connection with the brands and game developers to grow, to leverage all my content? I think first step I like to point out is put together a media kit. Have your own media kit. That's where you're going to put your important information, your subscriber number of subscribers, followers, visualizations. It's a way you're going to pitch yourself, sell yourself to a brand, a developer. So it's important to have knowledge of this information and to share with the brands. We also want to point out being professional. Be professional when you talk to the brands and developers, and they're they're going to take you seriously. They know that content creation today is work. They have this understanding, so it's extremely important for you to emphasize that. And something I want to also mention today, when you're playing a game or something, it's always great to see if that developer does not offer a partnership with smaller content creators. Sometimes you can get a nice deal. Avakin Life today, we have a creators program where we bring under our wings the small creators. We help them to boost their content creation, and the focus of the program is to get those creators to grow. We understand that a partnership between a developer, a brand, and a content creator has to be a win-win. It can't be, something that is working only for one side. So our idea with the creators program is to leverage content creation, fostering people to continue creating. Brood can talk about that. She had that experience with us. Yeah, it's incredible. As creators, we need to get the best out of opportunities. With Avakin, I could work with O Boticário, TikTok. I had great learnings about TikTok and a different view about that platform. I make a lot of content for that platform due to this opportunity. Was an extremely important meeting with great advice, and singers who come to work with Avakin. So I had a chance to work with that. It was incredible. And so as a creator, any opportunity you have, get the best out of that. make the best use. It's only going to enrich you, bring you good things, and it's going to teach you to become professionally mature, how to deal, how to talk, how to speak. Communication is key, to speak and to be understood. Be very careful about that. Focus, study. Don't think that that you don't have to study. No, you have to study a lot. Yes, especially for you to be able to sell yourself, to pitch yourself, to be seen by the brands and developers. That's extremely important. And we also want to point out that you should be aware of the rules of the game that you're playing and the platform you're creating content for. Also focus on the rules of the partnership. We want it to be something for everyone to win and for it to be cool for new opportunities to arise. So comply to the rules, pay attention to the briefings, what people tell you, because those are things that will make the difference for the future, both of the content creator as well as the brand. So I think that's the advice, the key takeaway for that point. Do you want to add anything else? I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but I think we've talked a lot about many things. And in closing, it's going to take time, folks. It's going to require dedication, study, hard work. You're going to have to do 1,000 things at the same time, dealing with your personal life. When you start editing, you're doing it all on your own, but the path is the most important. The path is the most beautiful part. So instead of thinking about the rival, think about the journey. Enjoy the journey. That's precious. The experiences are precious. Yes, and I couldn't leave out what you just said. We know that content creation today, it's something that takes time. It takes a huge dedication. It's work that it's a lot of work, but this is a time where we have so many tools available, so many things that we can learn, to be moving along with this industry. And this industry is just growing. Opportunities are out there. Just roll up your sleeves, try it out, think outside the box, and that's what really matters. Yeah, that's it. I think we can wrap it up right here, folks. I'm not sure if anyone has questions or if we're going to answer questions. You know, Actually, I would like to ask a few questions to you girls uh, about influencers. I'm on that path. I'd like to ask, at the end of the day, is there something like one social network that is appropriate for you to begin with? It'll be cool to invest, or that's not real. Any social network is a social network, and you just put your content out there. In my opinion, considering the brands and developers were very much open to new social networks. And so it's what we said, it depends on the content that you want to create and the game you want to play. Today we see social networks that we never thought they would be so open to games. TikTok itself, they're incentivizing the community more and more. So social networks are social networks. Knowing how you're going to use it and what you're going to use it for, that's what's most important.
Exatamente.
Yeah, fully agreed.
Antes de você adicionar, Brood, inclusive,
Brood, before you chime in, I actually want to thank the folks from TikTok. They're very much with us. They're streaming our live stream here. Uh, Big has just launched our channel in TikTok, and we are crushing it. So if you don't follow Big Festival on TikTok, find us there. Broodway, you're going to say something? No, just wanted to say that it the platform really is doesn't matter. So many people have not tried, you know, on YouTube, and they're going straight to TikTok, and they have thousands of followers, very much engaged. So we're being surprised, blown away. So it's not like, oh, I have to begin with this or that one, especially when you have the gift, the spontaneity, creativity, spontaneity. Yeah, it's through the roof.
vou fazer mais uma perguntinha então.
One more quick question then.
Pode?
Just one more. So
Quando uma pessoa ela tem diversos
when
objetivos para falar,
someone has
não
different
só sobre
subjects to talk about, not just games and pop culture and so many other things, do you think they should initially focus on just one topic, or from the get-go they should go broad and videos, reels, TikToks, and what do you think?
Olha, eu acredito que ela pode
I
estar
believe
diversificando.
they could diversify.
Vamos supor que você começa com
Let's
uma
imagine
série
that you
de
start creating game focused
ela pode
content, and
falar
then
sobre
later
filmes,
down the road you bring motion picture and
jogos, e
shows,
talvez
sitcoms.
você
Your games audience will not always be the same audience that will follow you talking about
mas
other
eu acredito
subjects.
que
So
você
it's a bit of a more
tem
difficult
diferentes
battle. You have to win
perfis.
different
E
audiences
isso
about
varia um pouco
different
de você
topics. But I see no
escolher
problem
os seus
about you
interesses,
beginning
né?
talking about different and diverse things.
Bacana, legal, gente. Bom,
Nice,
é isso. Queria
nice.
agradecer demais a
So that
participação
is
de
it. I would
vocês
like
aqui.
to thank you
Obrigada pelas
for being here with
palavras,
us. Thank you so much
pelas nossas
for
dicas.
your
E se
time,
você
for your
está
teachings.
precisando se
And if you're there at home, you want to become an influencer,
das meninas,
get
fechou?
these great advices from these fantastic girls. Thank you so much.
Tchau, tchau. Até
Bye
a
bye.
próxima. E
I'll see you next
convido
time.
você a
Big Festival 2021, the biggest games festival in Latin America.